presenter for our action research, for our group's action research. The title of our action research is Using Thrass Phonics to Improve Pupils' Reading of Words with Diagraph. So first of all, let's look at the reflection of our previous teaching and learning experiences. So during my teaching lessons, I realized that actually I have a lot of year 2 students who were unable to read the new words that are made out of diagraph. So as I was teaching a lesson about the sound, one part of the lesson requires pupils to look and say the segmented sound of the words before saying the word in full. For example, when I show the pupils the word thin, okay, for example, thin, the pupils had to pronounce the phoneme t, I, n before saying the full word thin. However, a handful of my students were unable to sound the diagraph t correctly. Either the word was wrongly pronounced like t, instead of t, or they were totally unable to decode and blend the given graphemes to sound the right words because they learn the words in a whole, as a whole. This can mainly due to two factors. That what I think. Either the students are reading one letter, one word, or they are able to sound the words at all because they can only say the words aloud as a whole, but not chunks. So hence I decided to do a research to improve students' reading of words with diagraph with the help of Thrass Phonics. Next, let's look at the significance of the study. So as we can see here, the significance of this study is to make use of the Thrass Phonics which teaches new phonics against programs like OLMOSM, which stands for one letter make one sound method, and whole language reading instruction method to improve pupils' reading of words made out of diagraph. So as we can see from the report of the National Reading Panel, it indicates that teaching children phonics of English language will help them in many ways in life. For example, they can help them to read words, okay? It will bring to more benefits, okay? So the study also benefits the students with low reading proficiency. Once the pupils is able to develop the phonographic skill based on the Thrass Phonics, such as the reading of graph, diagraph, and trigraph, he or she will be able to read a wide range of words. Okay, so apart from that, the research is not only benefit the students but also the school. As you can see, if the pupils' English reading proficiency level increases, their English result will surely improve. So as for the research objectives, for the general objectives, the research is to improve my practice in teaching the use of phonics through the use of Thrass Phonics. And the specific objectives are to use Thrass Phonics to improve pupils' reading of words made out of diagraph. And the second one, to use Thrass Phonics to improve pupils' motivation to read. Now let's look at our research participants. So we chose 2 students to be our participants in this research, and a male and a female. Both of them come from year 2 class, and then the academic achievement for the male students is quite weak. For the female, it's just average, and the first language are Mandarin and Fuchao. To identify a problem, we have 3 methods that we use to identify the problem. The first one is through reading worksheet. that we have prepared for both of the students. And then besides that, we also check through the previously done reading school-based assessment. Okay, this is a sample of the worksheet that we gave them. And then the second method that we use is observation. So mainly we observe the method that the teacher used to teach phonics. We also observe the behavior and the performance of the students when the selected teacher used the method. And then we also observe their learning and their interest in the lesson. Okay. And next, the third method that we use is through interview. So with this method, we can get necessary information on the teaching method and the rationale behind the selection of the teaching methods. Okay, you can also get pupils' information, the weaknesses, their learning style. Okay, and also get permission to collect the pupils' sample of works. This is the sample that we have done, the question that we have prepared for the interview. After we identify the problems and we have come to problem analysis, from the written exercises or the reading worksheet, we have found out that 5 out of 22 pupils will manage to read the words given correctly. That means the leftover, they can't actually read the words. Okay. And then the second one, through observation, we observed that the teacher was actually using the whole language approach instead of teaching phonics. And the pupils who are reading the targeted words through repetition and drilling. And we can see that the students during the lesson seem a bit bored and restless. And on the other hand, it was also observed that some of the students were partially able to sound the words when asked to read the selected words aloud, but a few errors. It means that the students were using the first language phonology skill, which was the OLMOSM, the one letter make one sound method to say the selected words. And through the interview, we can see that the teacher usually used the look, listen, say method to teach the students. The teacher believed that the pupils will better understand the words as in a whole together with the meaning, and it is function instead of just identifying the sound. And the teacher assesses her students by carrying out a spelling test for the new words learned during the next lesson. So we have conducted 5 sessions for both of the students. The first session, they will be given the miskin nonsense word reading activity, where we give them a worksheet full of made up words for them to read to see whether they can read the words given. And then we have also introduction to the Thrass chart and the terms such as row, column, graphine, and phoneme. So, and then we have picture location. They have to locate the pictures for consonant and vowels. So for the second section, we have graphine location and formation. It is mainly focused on consonants. In the third section, we have graphine location and formation, and it's mainly focused on vowels. For the fourth session, we have word search activity and keyword synthesis, segmenting, blending, and reading activities. And the fifth session, we will be given them the same worksheet again, the missing nonsense word reading activity. This is for the final data. So this is the research outcome. For document analysis, we can see that throughout the sessions, pupils did show improvement in their learning progress. Based on the scores that the participants got, they did show progressive learning. So from 10 to 10 words that they can't read, to 2 words, left 2 words. Okay, left 2 words. Maybe we need more time because we conduct in like 2 weeks, less than a month. Okay, so through observation, all the participants pay attention, and this proved that my intention did catch their attention and motivate them to learn when I show the Thrass Phonics chart. So by looking at this observation form, the pupils are highly motivated in playing the picture location game and the graph find location game. Okay, and the third, we can see through the chat list. From the documentation of the chat list, the data could only be categorized under 2 codes, which are achieved yes and unachieved no. Diagraph. Look at the 3 sessions that they've gone through in the 3rd session. Okay, they achieved the objective. We have come to the reflection. In conclusion, I have now learned that the Thrass Phonics has improved my practice of teaching phonics. Prior to this research, I always faced difficulties in carrying out my readings lesson for phonics. There was no standardized phonics teaching, which made my teaching much unorganized and unstructured. So I sorted out an alternative approach in teaching phonics, which was the Thrass Phonics, to make phonics teaching and learning more effective. The result was very encouraging and satisfying, as I saw a vast improvement in my students' learning of diagraph and their behavior towards reading words and diagraph. Okay, the successful mastery of the learning content and the targeted reading skills reflected my effectiveness in teaching phonics. So I did not experience any difficulties or frustration as I had previously when teaching phonics. I personally believe that this is mainly due to the systematic nature of Thrass Phonics, which has given me opportunities to develop essential phonemic and phonic awareness skill, which enhance my ability to teach effectively through systematic instruction. For our further research, I would suggest trying Thrass Phonics in a large scale classroom. I would strongly recommend all the teachers to use it for their teaching as an intervention to help the pupils who are weak in reading. Apart from that, I would suggest the making of Thrass Phonics cards that is in line with the Thrass Phonics chart. We can further enhance the reinforcement of pupils' learning of phonics. Okay, the Thrass Phonics cards can be used as a game for pupils to practice the newly learned phonics. Okay, lastly, I would also suggest that the teacher should have a clear teaching aim of whether to teach the targeted phonemes or graphemes to avoid being confused by the Thrass Phonics charts ambiguity.